guys, this is John McNamara, host of Runnin Vegas. We're talking local sports, business, real estate. If you guys like what you see, follow us on Instagram and please subscribe. I'm with my host, Mr.
Rodrigo. Always happy and a pleasure to be here, sir.
Happy to have you here, man.
Another week.
So we got a kind of like a fun show. It's just we're really going to be talking sports today. The UNLV basketball landscape with transfers and everything is kind of, it hasn't totally figured itself out, but we talked on the last show, a couple transfers coming in, and today we thought it'd be fun to do a UNLV basketball projection of what the two deep, the depth chart for next year may look like. And then obviously when we get closer to fall, we'll probably have a better idea what it looks like. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun for sure. Yeah, get an idea of what the team can look like, how they'll be running things, and then we'll get to see how wrong we were at the when the season starts.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have no idea what we're doing. So, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple things for sure we're going to be off on. So, that's the fun thing about sports is it all looks good on paper, and then the season starts, and it's nothing like we talked about. But
well, I'll tell you one thing I can guaranteed put money on is who will start at the point guard position.
Who's that?
I don't know. Is this a junior kid? That just saw the JR,
Mr. Dedan Thomas. The drama continues.
The drama, Phil.
Is he staying? Is he going?
This has got to be like the 5th podcast.
I know, but this is how we hook them. This is how we hook them, Rod. They keep coming back.
Keep watching, huh?
Our 4 views a week. I think we have more than that.
Yeah.
But actually, I think Dedan is coming back. The portal is only open for less than a week, and there's been a lot of hints that he's returning.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was ever an official announcement. It was more like running it back with Dedan Thomas.
Yeah.
So we feel pretty confident about that one now.
To officially say that he's back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got that. It sounds like he's got an NIL deal with the water company, so that's usually a good sign.
Who is their water company?
Water district.
The water district. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Were they called something before?
I have no idea.
Before?
They've always been water district.
Water district.
Yeah.
Be water
next
conscious.
episode, we will know what the water company called 10, 20 years about. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go position to position. I'm going to give you my take of every position, give you your take. We're going to go too deep on this. Some news too. I know we talked about Jefferson, the power forward, top 100 player. He ended up committing to Iowa State,
I did see
which
that.
was kind of a surprise. But looks like we may have another commitment. It's not official yet, so hopefully we'll put this out when the commitment becomes official. There's been a lot of hints that Mr. Finley Bizjack, he is from Butler, former 4-star top 100 player, all Big East, freshman last year. He didn't play a ton, but it looks like he is going to be coming to UNLV as a potential starting shooting guard. So that's kind of the news of the week in terms of recruiting. So let's dive deep. So the point guard, who's going to be the starter?
No question.
I bet we got this different.
No. Well, let's see. You go first.
I got Jace Whiting.
Oh, man. That was my second choice.
It's going to be Dedan Thomas.
Oh, man.
I'm assuming you have the same one.
Yes.
So we don't have to dive deep into it. We talk about our love crush, man crush on Dedan every freaking week on this show. But he averaged 13 points, 5 assists, Mountain West Freshman Player of the Year. I think what's exciting about him is, what I've noticed over the years watching UNLV basketball, there's usually the biggest jump is from freshman to sophomore year. Yeah, I definitely saw it second half of the year. He may have already made that jump.
Yeah.
But seeing the second half Dedan play and just be a floor general, take over games, gets the last shot, was just incredibly impressive. So does that 13 points turn to 18 points and 7 assists? But it'll be super interesting to see if he can take that next step because, honestly, if he wasn't a freshman, he probably would have been consideration to be Mountain West Player of the Year. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I can definitely see him stepping it up. I can see his numbers going up as well. He's a big passer. I mean, he positions other players really well. He finds them. He's got that vision.
Yeah.
I can see his assists going up. And it's funny as I hear you saying that. I try to think who does he play similar to that could be an NBA player, just to give an idea of.
Maybe like Chris Paul. I think
that's what came to my mind.
I'm sure it did. Convenient. But like similar size, 6'1", floor general.
Yeah.
He assists well. He can make the big play if he wants to.
Confident, aggressive. Yeah, even though he's a bit on the smaller size, he doesn't shy away from the bigger guys. He'll take a hit. He'll take a foul. So yeah.
I'm super excited to watch him and see how he matures. And I think for me on this team, seems like there's two guys really returning that are like obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Whaley and Dedan Thomas. And can they take the next step? Because Whaley is clearly the 4 for the team, 6'6", 230 pounds. The guy jumps out of the gym.
Yeah.
Over 60% field goal percentage around the rim, just a scorer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plays aggressive. He being 6'6", he's an okay rebounder. But those are the two returning guys. I think the difference of this team being a tournament team next year, there's typically what I see is there's got to be like 3 guys that really are great players. And right now we're projecting 2.
Yeah.
And then who's potentially, so we're really hoping is there's going to be a third guy that just comes out of nowhere, kind of like Whaley did last year.
Yeah.
Right? Like the second half of the year, night and day. And then we saw it with the Boons, and then it all clicked, and then they got all these wins because the Boone twins were going, Whaley, and then Dedan, they looked phenomenal. They didn't get injured at the end. It's like they may have even had an opportunity to win the Mountain West tournament. So see who can step up. We need like 1 or 2 guys to take that role off, Dedan and Whaley's plate. So.
Yeah. And now that the opportunity is there for somebody to step up, I think it naturally will happen, right? Like players are going to see that, hey, there's still like a leader position available. So people are going to step up. So and it'll be fun to kind of watch them battle it out, right? I can see Hanley or Hill both stepping up as providing points.
Yeah, so let's dive into that. So let's jump into wings. So I have Jalen Hill right now as the starting wing. He's coming off of ACL. He played really well last year. I believe he had, let's see, my stats are saying 54% field goal percentage, 86% free throw, 6 rebounds a game. That was in 7 games, 30 minutes. Really good defensive player. I can see him being one of the starting wings. He's not much of a shooter, but he's just a very well-rounded player.
Yeah.
And then you're right, Jaden Henley's coming in from DePaul, and he played at Minnesota too. Henley's really interesting to me. Can he shoot from the outside? All of his scouting says he's a shooter.
Yeah.
But last year, he only averaged like 26% or something like that for three-point. The year before, though, his freshman year, at Minnesota in the Big Ten, he averaged 37% three-point. So if he can turn it at least back into that, because all the numbers say is if you're over 35%, you're a green light shooter in basketball.
Yeah.
So if he's over that 35%, I think that's going to be a really good sign. It looks like he can finish at the rim really well. He's coming down in competition. He played Big East and Big Ten basketball, which are the 2 best conferences, and he played over 20 minutes on those teams. So he looks like he's probably going to be at least a 20-minute guy with him and Hill. And I think it's going to depend on Hill and his recovery time of the ACL.
Yeah, how does he come back? How does he bounce back? Coming off an injury is tough, right? So, but I can see the battle, between them both. And I did see that it was Hanley, right, playing in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. What would it take for somebody or just a general player to kind of go back into that mode, like, or who he was 2 years before, right?
Right.
So I agree with you. It's a good point coming into not an easier conference, but just
that one's good, but we're not Big Ten and we're not Big East, right? So, and we saw that when we played Seton Hall. We saw UConn just run through the tournament.
True.
Big Ten, who represented Purdue in the championship game. So I think Mountain West, I would consider top 5 to 7 conference, depending on the year. Last year was really good. I hope that can continue, you know.
It'll be a good opportunity for him to, get that confidence, right? Get that self-esteem and, start. Yeah. taking control. So
Yeah, and DePaul was one of the worst teams in the league last year, or in the Big East, and all of college basketball. I think they had like 3 wins or something like that.
Wow.
So my only thought process is maybe this guy is a legit shooter, and he played on a really bad team. And now he's got Thomas, who we saw at the end of the year starting to get double teamed. So if he's a natural shooter, 6'7", he's got good size, so he's going to be shooting over most wings or guards in the league. Hopefully we can see him at that 37%, because that's going to be that will be a big adjustment rate right there.
yeah,
So
double team Dedan and find the open man. Boom.
boom, got it.
Wet.
Backing up Dedan Thomas, we got Jace Whiting. He's from the transfer from Boise State we talked about last week. He shot over 50% for 3-point. So I think he's going to be a good guy. Come in, maybe play 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on foul trouble or Dedan, gets in foul trouble, or even a potential backup shooting guard.
Right.
He kind of looks like a backup player, but I think it's. I like that they're going for potential shooters, and then the shooting guard position is super interesting. What's your take on that?
Now with all these names,
I'm throwing you off. So it looks like the shooting guards. These are my projections. We got Finley Bizjack. We talked about him already from Butler. I'm assuming he is probably going to be the starting shooting guard. But Brooklyn Hicks last year.
yes.
Top 150 player, like a high 3-star kid. He got a lot of offer at Washington, Cincinnati. He looked good last year. Athletic. Yeah. He's 6'3". He shot 40% from 3. So I could see that kind of being like 25, 15 minutes. They kind of go back. I see them both playing.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting if one of those guys can step up and really take on the role. We need just like 2 to 3 guys that can shoot really well from outside, and when Dedan's getting in that double team, can hit that 3.
Yeah.
And
this is when we'll really miss Boone.
Yes, that is interesting. Yeah, because he did it. I think he ended up shooting like 37% or
something close.
He
to
shot
that.
well, but he won us some games.
Yeah, well, he just stepped up.
Yeah.
When we needed it. So
Yeah,
that's a big.
I mean, he was 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
He was so tall, and he just, made some amazing shots. So we need a couple, because last year it was really him.
Yeah, it was only him.
That was only him. So if we can get 2 or 3 guys that can consistently shoot from outside, I think this team's going to be night and day. The team second half of the year looked really good, but we kind of relied on Boone having a big game, or Dedan going off, or Whaley having a big game. So it's like, hey, can we get multiple players to consistently contribute, because the offense is running through Dedan. It's just, can we get guys who can shoot on the outside?
Yeah, I agree. So maybe you can give me a little knowledge. So what typically goes down in the center position here for who's our big man?
Center. So it looks like, and we talked about him before on the show, Jeremiah Cherry. He's a JUCO.
The Bear.
He's going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Did you see the bear go off last night?
I saw the bear.
He's just massive. He's like 6'11", 250 pounds. One thing I've really liked about Kruger, it seems like he has taken like 3-star kids or JUCOs, and I think he actually recruits pretty well. He doesn't really, maybe he got Dedan, right? He was a local. But for the most part, he's getting like these high-end 3-star kids or the JUCOs, and they're actually playing well.
Yeah.
Where I've seen it reverse in the past, where we've had some coaches that get the best 4-star kid they get, and then the kid doesn't play well, and then the team blows up because that kid got promised playing time, and they're not good, you know? So one thing I do like about Kruger, he's actually building a culture. I hope he can continue moving in that direction, because it just seems like these guys do work, and they continue to. It's not the typical way I've just seen how UNLV basketball roster has been built in the past.
Yeah.
But I like the guy. Like when they get some of these signings, I'm like, that's not super exciting. And then you see him the next year, I'm like, wow, he's actually better than what his rating is.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a couple guys on this list we can go through. But yeah, Jeremiah Cherry. He was also recruited by San Diego State. I love it when we take San Diego State guys, Because that's really the direction we should be in.
Rub it in their face.
Yeah, and San Diego State does such a great job with building. They have a culture. They recruit well, but they don't get a ton of 4-star kids. It's usually 3-star kids to develop them.
Yeah,
and it's kind of fun to just look at this roster projection, and you're like, man, there's a lot of guys that are coming back. There's been so many UNLV off seasons where I'm like, we're completely starting over. This guy left and this guy left. And that's usually a sign of poor culture.
Yeah.
So Kruger's got that down.
Yeah, no, he's doing something that my good coach taught me when I got in the business.
Yeah.
What
was
that?
that?
Is to underpromise and overdeliver.
Yes, sir. I did say that.
I like how you take that role. Yeah. But it is.
Well, I thought you were going to like it like your soccer coach or something. Throw it back on me.
Nah, I don't remember those people.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Shout out Spring Valley High School.
Spring Valley, what?
But yeah, it seems like they're doing that, right? They're not really getting caught up in the big names, and they're just kind of looking for what fits correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he is protecting the culture as well, which is something we have discussed before. It seems like we're winning these with these players and coming in and transferring here because of the culture, right?
Yeah. It seems like they are playing tougher basketball. That's just the mentality is different.
Yeah.
The scheme isn't too sexy, It's kind of it's kind of like simple basketball that I'm watching. Mm-hmm. But if we can continue with that momentum from last year and build through that, we'll see. I think we're all. I'm always rooting for UNLV basketball. I always want the coach to succeed, but it feels good. I was kind of like 50-50 of Kruger coming back. I'm glad they actually did because, again, it's like you can't keep starting over a new college basketball coach every 3 years. And it's great when you hit on a coach that is able to bring in transfers and win the first year, the second year.
Yeah.
The reality is there's not a lot of those guys out there. But we have seen Kruger progress. So I hope he takes that next step. I really do think if he doesn't make NCAA tournament this year, though, he's probably out. I think this is his kind of last shot,
At it, yeah.
But the pieces are lining up for that to potentially happen. So we'll see. They got one last roster spot, so I think that's going to be kind of a big, thing of who they sign. The one guy I would really like for them to get is Bryson Gooden. He's from Fairfield, originally recruited from Syracuse, played at Providence. He shot 46% from outside last year and the year before that. So he would be amazing. I don't know if he's still in, consideration now that we just signed it. It looks like we got a commit from Bizjack from Butler. Mm-hmm. But the roster construction is going to be really interesting for the last spot. Do they get another scorer, which I think they should, because I don't think you can have. It's good to have a lot of scorers, or do they get another big man, or or a 3-star kid? I think it'll be the difference of them playing small or big, and right now they can go either way.
Yeah.
So
leave it to the universe to decide, bro.
Yeah.
Faith. No, but I agree. I think we can kind of go both ways, and it'll be exciting to watch either way.
Yep.
Yeah. So what did you say? A power guard. Power forward, sorry.
Power forward. Yeah, we talked about Robert Whaley. So one guy that they mentioned, or Kruger mentioned actually, is Jacob Barnaby, 6'9", 203 pound. He was a freshman that signed last year. Said he played really hard. He did great in practice, and to watch out for him for some minutes. Oh. So I see him coming as the backup power forward right now, unless they sign somebody. Okay. Again, that's going to be the big. Do they sign a power forward or do they sign a wing?
Yeah.
Because that could be a difference right there. And obviously it's Robert Rayleigh home down that position. And then Isaiah Cottrell, former 4-star, 6'11", 245-pound kid, former 4-star from West Virginia.
Yeah.
He's had health issues. He's been kind of just a big body. He's under 40% field goal percentage. He's an okay rebounder, okay defensive player. So I really hope he could step up in some way, either defensively or rebound, whatever it is. Hopefully he has a whole year of getting healthy and he can really contribute, because he did play minutes last year, but it just felt like he didn't have a role, It was kind of so hopefully he can carve out a role for himself.
Right. Solidify that. Yeah, I can see him and Whaley kind of splitting some time and going at it,
Yeah.
earning that position. So that'll be good too for Whaley because he'll just be forced to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's got Whaley has Mountain West potential, to make one of the conference teams. So it'll be interesting. And then we have Papa Nadea. I'm crushing these names, by the way. And James Evans. They're both top 150 players, center and a wing. Nadea is 7 foot center, but he's like 200 pounds. So he's got to build weight. I'm assuming it seems like when the freshmen come in, for the exception of Dedan, they kind of not rest them, but they kind of let them sit for a year, which is unusual too for college basketball. You don't see that as often, but I think it's good because you get the red shirt and then they can really develop and you're not just throwing kids to play just to play.
Yeah.
So good recruiting class overall. It's nothing crazy special, but I think they overall had a good class come in. It looks like better than most Mountain West schools. They're building a culture. They're getting young players to step up. So it'll be fun to see how it develops.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's exciting. They got a lot of pieces. So
Yeah, it's be fun to watch out, and we'll let you know, that next piece that comes in, because I think that will give us a better idea. And then we want to do shout out to the Knights.
Woo!
Woo, 2-0
Look at
against
that
Dallas.
shirt. All of a
I don't know if you
sudden.
guys can see it.
Just so you guys know, he does not watch hockey. All of a sudden, the Knights get 2 wins in the playoffs, and all of a sudden, the guy T-shirt up over here.
That's where they hit the home runs, right?
Yeah, after they pass third base.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but yeah, shout out to the Knights. Great two games, man.
Yep.
This week.
Yeah, playing great defense. It's interesting, kind of what we talked about last week, is they rest these players on purpose, and they come in. It's funny, it's an entirely different team. But it's the head coach, where he plays great defense. He does that bottleneck defense, which I love, because actually, shout out to Quinnipiac University Hockey, has the same exact structure. It's not sexy hockey, but I'm using that word a lot today. But it wins. Defense wins championships, and that's one thing I really like about the Knights. So we're going to talk about that more next week with that series. And you got anything else to add?
No, next time just let me know that we are, wearing our team logo, our team T-shirts, so I don't have to come in formally.
Okay, I'll send you. You didn't get the facts today?
No, bro. Oh, the fact. Oh, man, I didn't check my facts.
That's the facts.
I'll check my pager next time.
Yeah. All right, guys. This is Runnin Vegas. Thanks to the best co-host and the best mister.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Take care of yourself, guys.